There are cons in New Jersey known as the Jeff Mock events for all things steampunk, Renaissance, Wicked, and geek. This November was one such event.
3, 4, 5!
From sorta kinda small to sorta kinda really small, or, half the size of an 8.5 by 11.
This is Swiggy Schwa with the Taco Haven here with Uncle Yao. We just saw you perform, just saw you basically entertain for 2 hours, host and talk to the cosplayers and the models and stuff like that. I really gotta say it was a fantastic show.
I'm here to work you guys up. I'm your host for this evening. I'm also going to do my stand-up later in this room later today, but that's going to be after our premiere of Gamers the Movie, and then Celebrity Jeopardy is going to be on later. Hope to see you guys out there for that. My name's Uncle Yo. I'm a geek comedian, which means instead of health insurance, I have hit points. Once those run out, we're boned. I mean, I'm trying to get whatever program Mario personally has, because you hit your head against enough bricks and you collect 100 pennies, you get an extra life. That is nowhere on the Obamacare website. What backward Canadian healthcare plan is that to cheat death for 100 little coins?
What got you here at the Geek Creation Show?
The Geek Creation Show was about 3.5 months ago when I got contacted by Dr. Andy, who's been talking for years trying to get me down to a Jeff Mack event. Jeff Mack are the guys who do it. This is their first year for the Geek Creation Show. I do a lot of work in the Northeast. A lot of stuff, Anime Next. I do KatoriCon as well. That's in January in Gloucester County, New Jersey. So I have a bit of a presence in the geek convention scene, but only that specific niche. Not even like internet geek scene, but geek convention scene. So if you narrow it down enough, you're eventually going to find my niche, which is I got my start hosting an emceeing costume contest, mainly because I was the only guy with enough public speaking experience to not fluff the words and knew what a majority of the costumes were, so I actually could pronounce it right. Alright, so flat out, one of my favorite franchises, this is brought to us by Valve. I ran into these guys in the elevator and I couldn't believe what they decided to do with this. So, not the original character design, so they decided to do a little anthropomorphic work, which you'll see time and time again. So let's please welcome Jacob Ulrich as the Space Corps and his mom Karen Ulrich as GLaDOS from Portal and Portal 2.
Pronounce it right, make the jokes, work with the cosplayers.
Work with the
cosplayers.
We
saw that before, yeah.
Know what they watched it and why they watched it.
I want it sparkly.
I love it.
Sparkles in the light.
My ADD has been picking it up all night. it is noticed.
Like, oh, like you're just like speechless. And stuff.
Well, hands down. The New York Anime Festival for 2 years, there's a gentleman named Tom from Rhode Island who owns a car wash, and if you leave him alone with enough metal, he'll sculpt it. So the lights come up, and there's a solid yellow Camaro on stage. So the Camaro transforms and stands up as a 12-foot tall bumblebee. The lights go down, he lights up like Tron, and then starts breakdancing. So when you're able to create from nothing, because that's what blows me away, is that to breathe three-dimensional life into a two-dimensional idea. That's what shocks me every time about this. And sometimes it's even the details alone on the smaller, more quiet costumes, the Kingdom Hearts people who start from scratch. Or even if it's something as simple as like Street Fighter, if it's Ken or Ryu, and they just started from white fabric and sculpted it to them. I mean, I keep trekking along because it's a very welcoming community. It's the support and community that I've always wanted to see, always wanted to know. And to know that there are such positive influences out there that are hardworking, dedicated, and just really in love with enough to do it for free, to do it for volunteer work. That's the kind of compassion that you talk about not seeing in the States, but I see it every weekend at a convention.
I couldn't say it better myself. Uncle Gil, thank you. To show, I'm here with a Mr.
Nigel Taylor.
Nigel Taylor, and please tell me about yourself, because literally we were just in the costume show. Yes. You were a judge. You were hilarious. You are Snape, so we'll see that.
Laura Slytherin! You'll be knocking on her Gryffindor to give her Hufflepuff the old Ravenclaw in no time.
Hoovian goes to Caden as the fourth Doctor. A lot of Jeff Mack events. I do Professor Snape, and I do a lot of the Harry Potter related events. I've done performances and appearances at LeakyCon and Ascendio, and I'm now promoting for Shoot 212, which is a full immersion Harry Potter experience taking place in Santa Clara, California in July.
Okay, Shoot 212?
Yes, Shoot 212. Yes, Shoot 212. Turn to page 212. In July 4th weekend in Santa Clara, Vampire Capital.
Ooh, really?
And the Harry Potter universe, I also am the lead singer for Platform 1. We perform at most of the Jeff Mack events and related steampunk, anime, and possibly Harry Potter events. We are all over. We've been around for years. We're on Facebook, Bands in Town, Reverbation, iTunes, of course, everything. So it's Platform 1 or platform-one.com. And I do acting. My bandmate Allison, actually my drummer, writes screenplays, and we've done movies. We did Ichabod, which is the retelling of Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman. In addition to that, we do horror movies like, let's see, Next Door, which is a haunted house movie, and Last Exit, which we just finished earlier this year, which is a werewolf movie. So I play one of the hunters. It's a huge departure from the wand-waving wizard. I play a gun-wielding hunter who's kind of loose, in my mind, loosely based off of the Jane character from Firefly.
Ah, it's all, oh my god, really?
So, yes, yes.
So in other words, you're probably the most talented nerd ever.
I'm not the most talented nerd ever. I've met some of those nerds, but I'm definitely in good company.
Since you brought to what we saw so far, and you've still got things to go for.
I've been fortunate enough to meet some of the actors from the movies, and Ellie Darcy Alden, who played the young Lily, she and I met, and she's like, "Can you do the voice?" And I said, "In the side, on a day like this, people might think you're up to something."
And now all the fangirls scream.
And they do. They call the people and come to this. So yeah, I enjoy it. I've done this for schools. I've done this for charities. I love what I do.
I hope we see way more of you. Like I said, really, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
And how do you pronounce this?
Schwiggity schwa. Schwiggity schwa.
Schwiggity schwa. It sounds more like schwiggity schwa.
And you know what? I have no idea what that magic would do.
I have no idea.
2, 3,
For science!
It's whiskey today till the monsters burst in. It's whiskey and it drown away all of our sin. Whiskey numbing the pain that takes you through our skin. We're drinking for science tonight. The plan was to force the world mind to evolve with our gas all year from. it's whiskey today till the monsters burst in. Whiskey, nothing to pay. Stay true to our skin, 'cause we're drinking for science tonight. The plan was to force the world's mind to evolve with small whipcord. Yes, all your problems are small, we've been cured. All my dubious essence dissolved. Big balls that went wrong, now our flesh gets dissolved by the hideous beast who will take us their peace. We're drinking for science tonight. Well, it's whiskey today till the monsters burst in, and it's whiskey to drown away all of our sin. Whiskey, nothing to pay. They true to our skin. We're drinking for science tonight. They pass to the geeks, the steampunks and freaks they've inspired.
Hello, Jason.
Who are you?
Professor Adam Smasher at your service.
Pleasure to meet you, sir. Like, seriously, what gave you the idea for this character? Like I said, is it an original idea, first of all?
Well, Professor Adam Smasher is an original idea that I came up with. I have a Facebook page, and if anybody watching this would care to like the Facebook page, I would greatly appreciate that. But I am a professional musician. I play guitar, I write songs, I sing. I've done a little bit of acting and emceeing, ringleader of all kinds of dimensions here. But Professor Adam Smasher was a steampunk character I came up with to attend the 2012 Steampunk World's Fair, and this is one of his sub characters actually. This is the mad scientist, part of his persona. But Professor Adam Smasher is a gentleman professor with a tall top hat, and steampunk appointments just about everywhere. So please check out the page and you'll get the idea.
When did you start getting into the whole steampunk World's Fair scene?
Well, the Steampunk World's Fair scene, that kind of came when I realized there was one. Steampunk itself, I guess, has always been part of my life, whether I knew it or not. There's a lot of elements in steampunk, a lot of steampunk elements in literature and movies and everything that I had been watching since I was a boy. I guess my father was really the one that turned me onto it. I mean, there were even steampunk rides here in New Jersey on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Used to be the diving bell. You don't get much more of a steampunk ride than that, but...
these particular events have you come to? Do you remember? Or have you lost count?
I have lost count, and it's only been really in the last 2 years, and I've already lost count, but I also make my own steampunk events. I'll crash, different events dressed as a steampunk. The perfect example would be the Edison Day at the Edison Historical Site in West Orange, New Jersey. I showed up there dressed as a steampunk, and that show was of particular interest to me because of the battle between Tesla and Edison. The festival just sort of showed up, and interesting thing happened there. Somebody said, "Don't you feel weird being dressed like that, here?" I said, "Well, actually, my attire, my Victorian attire, is actually more period correct than what you're wearing."
You said you taught your own classes and stuff like that. How does it feel to actually try to see to spread your joy to other people?
Well, it's really sort of an infectious thing. It has a life of its own, and again, I think K.W. Jeter, with defining that word, rather than calling it Victorian sci-fi, comes up with that word in 1987, steampunk, to define the genre. That word just that word empowers the genre, and it became epic, and
it became its own theme,
yeah,
its own everything else.
It's infectious. It's very easy to get people interested in it, again, because so much of steampunk is elemental. It's already out there. People like it. They just don't know what to call it. Once you give them a word, they're like, okay.
There we go. Fandom acquired.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, thank you so much, Professor Adam Smasher.
What a pleasure, Jason.
I'm Schwiggy Schwab from Otaku Haven. We're here at the Geek Creation Show. We're here with the man that probably started it, the man that made it all possible. Like I said, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jeff Mack. I carry a clipboard.
This all started for you. What started the Geek Creation Show and the Wicked Fair and all the things you're associated with? Like, what gave you the idea and how to go from there?
Well, I kind of accidentally started the Rutgers University Rocky Horror Picture Show Club. Mm-hmm. And actually, I guess at 13, I accidentally became an extrovert. From having been a massive introvert, I became a massive extrovert through a series of odd and not entirely coincidental circumstances. And then in college, I kind of ended up starting this weird organization devoted to putting on fun events for unusual people. When I left college and got a job doing marketing for a nutraceuticals firm, I started to feel like my life didn't have enough. Well, I didn't like being a boring person. I'm not saying that people who don't run weird events for a living are boring people. I'm just saying that I was a boring person when I wasn't running events for a living.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to get, like I said, you want to add more flair to the world, more or less.
I would like to make the world a more unusual place.
Those are actually some really powerful words. Now, what kind of trials have you had to go through in order to get something like this up and running?
No trials whatsoever.
Really?
Everything was settled out of court. There's no difficult. Oh, sorry, right. You mean this particular event or the whole company?
Yeah, like the events making like what other shows are you affiliated with? Like the Wicked Fair?
We run the Wicked Winter Renaissance Fair, which
Yeah,
is the world's largest indoor Renaissance fair. Although, admittedly, it's kind of a hybrid Renaissance fair and everything else that's unusual fair.
It all kind of molds together. It's fine.
And the world's largest steampunk event, the Steampunk World's Fair. And an event I can't talk about unless I'm pretty sure that you're over the age of 18. But that's the largest event of its kind in the world also. Granted, it's also the only event of its kind in the world. And we run the Geek Creation Show, which is here. And we've been experimenting with a couple of other shows, like we recently put on a one-night show called Occultus, dedicated to dark Victorian interactive fun.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes, and this year we are partnering with the amazing musician, artist, author, and all-around Renaissance man, Voltaire, for Voltaire's Wicked Necro Comic-Con, an independent Comic-Con for the dark, the unusual, the macabre, and the strange.
And stuff like that. How has you've seen this? Have you seen like a slope in terms of the number of attendees, the kind of reception you're getting from running these shows? Like, have you noticed a change since where you started from where you are now?
Well, I started doing an event. I was trying to think about what kinds of events would be interesting to all kinds of people who like unusual things. What do many people who like unusual things enjoy? They enjoy making fun of cult movies. So I had this event called Jeff Mack's Cult Movie Overnight. And that ran for 4 years, and it was quite a small event. We could never get past the name because people would rightfully hear the name and say, cult movies are kind of interesting, but not my main thing. I'm going to do something else. So we eventually had one, the last one, we called it the Final Overnight. It was the most successful. We had 220 people. After that, we said, well, what's something else that lots of unusual people like? Well, they really like Renaissance fairs. I like the ability to alter time and space, which is something you can do with a Renaissance fair.
Yeah.
Well, let's put on a Wicked Winter Renaissance Fair. And we did. And we went from 220 people, well, that is, we went from our largest event being 220 people, to the Wicked Fair, which in its first year had a little over 2,200 people. And a staff of 11.
Wow, really?
Staff, volunteers, everyone. 11.
You guys are really busting your humps getting this thing going
A
on.
bit, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jeff. Like I said, really appreciate you doing this for everyone. Everyone's super excited, and everyone's. All I'm seeing is smiling faces, and everyone's having fun. Like I said, really, thanks a lot.
You're more than welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.